It's time for another Dice Tower review with the Board Game Knights.
Hi, Millie Bays here to sell you the exciting field of chematology. What is chematology, you might ask? It is the study of ancient Egypt. What is the latest in chematology, you might ask? Power tiles, power tiles, power tiles! Today we're selling power tiles. What are power tiles? Well, power tiles do good things. Are your pyramids not growing? Well, every night we can give you the hand of God, which grows your pyramids for you once per night.
I was tending to my pyramids every day, watering them, and they never grew. Now I have the hand of God, which grew my pyramids overnight.
Are you trying to settle your new pyramid on the Nile? Well, look no further than this power tile. It is +1 power. Every time you go into battle, you get extra strength. Extra strength! What? You want more power? Well, look no further than the Royal Scarab. The Royal Scarab gives you double power strength, and you get to move twice as fast. Oh my god!
Our armies were having trouble at Crimea until we get power tiles from chematology. This gives our armies edge needed to win in battle. Would highly recommend.
All of this and more can be yours if you call now. If you call now, you get an extra power tile worth points for the low cost of 2 blood sacrifices. We're just throwing it away.
Hi, welcome to the Board Game Knights. I'm Jessica James.
I'm Christoph Schrader.
And I'm Sam Gillespie, and today we're going to have a look at Kemet.
Kemet is a 2 to 5 player area control game published by Matagot games.
Yes, and that was produced by... These names are a little hard, so I'm just getting Aussie names. This is Jackie Barriott and Gilly Montage.
I'm so sorry.
The goal of Kemet is to get to 8 victory points, or 10 if you want to have a long game. You do that by holding onto different areas or winning combat.
Cool.
Every player will have a city that has 3 different areas in it, and each of them have these really cool little repurposed D4s as pyramids for it. So it's quite a... It follows that Egyptian theme quite well.
Nice. Each player also has their own little player mat, which has their available actions they can take on their turn. They have 5 available actions per turn of these little tokens they spend. And it also counts your prayer points, your currency used to buy different things in the game.
One of the important ones is the movement one, which allows you to move just one section across, or if they're starting in the city, they can teleport using 2 prayer points to any of the obelisks which appear along the map.
Which is crazy.
It is.
Another action players can do is recruit, whereby they spend prayer points equal to the number of guys they want to put back down on the board. So 2 guys costs 2 prayer points anywhere in their city that they would like.
Insane. The next thing you can do is simply by spending an action here, you can gain 2 prayer points. Nice and simple. The nice thing, or the reason you want to do that for, is you'll then use an action to upgrade your pyramids. You can spend points equal to the tier of pyramid you're going to, say going from 1 to 2, I spend 2 prayer points. I can then buy stuff in the different ranks over there.
Shopping?
No, Jess, we'll get to shopping in a little bit. We've got to do combat first. Whenever 2 players have units in the same area, there will be a combat encounter, where every single unit that's in that encounter is worth 1 strength.
So as you can see, right now we have 3 versus 3. Seems nice and simple. However, each player has this little deck of cards, the same cards as each other. They choose to play one of these cards secretly down the table and discard another one from play. This also means that they're weaker until they've gone through the whole deck and start using it again.
The grand total of the strength of these 2 cards plus their units, it decides who is the winner, which in this case would be Christoph.
Woo!
But that means that your dudes have to leave.
I have to retreat, yes. However, but before we leave, there's going to be some combat losses.
There is. Because he has played some with a blood token, that means that 2 of Christoph's dudes die. Fortunately, he does have a shield icon, which means that one of them is protected. Now, because Sam lost, he has to leave. Christoph chooses where in the adjacent spots he can go, so he can push him anywhere he really wants.
But I can choose to sacrifice these guys and get the equivalent in prayer points, so 1 prayer point for each dude that's lost, back.
Sam, can we talk about shopping? Can we talk about shopping now? Can we talk about shopping? Shops, please? Sam, please? Sam, please? Shopping?
Fine.
Okay, so...
Okay, the first thing you can do on your turn, you can spend an action to buy from the little shopping tile area over here. All these tiles are unique, so only 1 person may get them at a time.
The thing is, though, is that every tile has a specific tier that it's from 1, 2, 3, and 4, costing 1, 2, or 3, or 4 prayer points. But you can only buy to the tier that the strength of your pyramid is. So if you have a 3 strength white pyramid, you can buy up to tier 3 in the white tiles.
There are 3 different department stores that you can buy from. There's the red ones, which are really good for attacking and basically aggressive maneuvers. There's the blue ones, which are more about defense. And then there's the white ones, which are basically utilities. There's some really cool abilities you get here, and for example, like the little tiny monsters, which can follow your troop around, like the dung beetle. There are some really good abilities. For example, this one here increases your maximum troop size to 7 instead of 5.
This one over here will decrease the cost of buying any other power tile by 1 prayer point.
This one here is probably my favourite. This is the Act of God, which gives you an extra action to use.
This one over here is Ambush, and it will kill 2 of your enemy soldiers before any battle even begins, meaning that you'll probably get a lot of extra strength.
This one here is probably the most dangerous of the animals, and that's the Scorpion. It has extra strength and extra blood, so it kills up the other people's characters, and also has extra movement.
And these ones will follow other additional troops, whereas this one here can cancel out the ability of any other beast that's put into a combat.
Okay, there's many different ways to score points in Kemet. Let's take a trip down the Nile of points. The first way to win points in Kemet is in combat. If you win as the aggressor in combat, note not as a defender, you get a permanent victory point, which is very important in this game. The next way to get a temporary victory point is whenever you take your pyramid up to the top tier, tier number 4. Now that is temporary because someone may take control of your temple and thus you'll lose the point.
Another way is if you manage to hold onto one of these little temples, there's a few of them on here, you get a temporary victory point, which can also be taken away from you if someone beats you in battle and takes over the place. But if you're holding 2 of them at the end of the round, then you get a permanent victory point, which is very useful.
Another way you can score point is through these special shopping tiles.
Yeah.
For instance, every single tier has, every single colour has one of these special tokens, which will give you 1 permanent victory point. And if you also hold the Sphinx, you get a victory point. And finally, there is the Sanctuary of the All Gods, which is this temple all the way over here. And if you sacrifice 2 of your units at that temple at the end of the round, so you have to hold it for the whole round, you get 1 permanent victory point from there as well.
It's a big target too, because everyone can get there immediately via the obelisks. Okay guys, the first thing I gotta say about Kemet is that it throws you into battle immediately from turn 1, which I think is really cool. It's a pretty simple area control war game, but less on the war, more on the area control for scoring.
Yeah.
A good sign that it's probably less away from like a military style game is the fact that I like it. Because I don't enjoy military games as much as I enjoy area control games, which is one of these sorts of games.
And a lot of area control games move very slowly because you have to slowly move your troops across the board and take over small areas.
And recruiting
takes a while. And so a lot of games, the first 3 rounds or so is just.
But it immediately starts like, oh yeah, you can teleport.
Yeah, just bang. I'll take that.
It's insane, by the way, and it's pretty cheap to do that too. So you're encouraged on the very first turn to jump into battle and start killing people. But yeah, going back to the area control and the slow movement early for a war game, this game borrows a mechanic from the Game of Thrones board game,
which was notorious for being a little bit slow and very slow.
Yeah.
These little hidden combat cards that you use throughout the round to do your combat resolution. These are borrowed basically from that game.
Yeah, they're very simplified. They don't have the special abilities that they had in Game of Thrones, but they're all. Everyone has exactly the same cards, so there's no disadvantage, advantage there.
Yeah.
And you can always see what they've played before, so you can build your strategy around that, which is really quite nice, I think.
And if you choose to play your strongest one immediately, you've got to discard another one when you play it. So the little choices you're getting are dwindling very quickly.
Yeah, every third battle you have, you're probably going to lose.
And you cannot reuse them until you've finished all of them, so you have to be playing a bad one sometime.
Yeah.
There's no way around it.
Yeah, and other players are going to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Another thing I only learned just like now was the fact that if you actually take over someone else's little temple area and they have like a level 4, which is quite expensive because you've got to pay 2 and then 3 and then 4,
9.
you know, 9. That's a lot of math. If you take over that area, so if someone invades and they take over this, it's a bit difficult. That means they can actually buy stuff on the level 4 tier.
That is insane.
That is insane.
That means that you could not be upgrading your temples at all and just be the complete, on conquest, stealing them and then getting the big stuff for it.
I've played this game a few times now, and every single time I play it, I don't even know what to do with the strategy. There's so many different ways you can play it. And it's so quick too. Like, we played a game earlier, and like I had a bit more experience, so I knew kind of a little bit what I was doing. And the game ended in 3 rounds, so the game can end really, really quickly
You can rush
because
it.
if you hit hard and get those areas early on, you can get so many points.
It's definitely a game that if you're not used to attacking other players, then you're not going to do that well because it's really easy just to go and attack.
It is
Yeah.
super aggressive.
Everyone's used to playing defensive games.
Especially,
This one is not that.
seeing
It's not
as
that, yeah.
if you're on like this side of the board here and then you're looking someone over there, you're going to assume, all right, I'm just going to wait here and build up, move out a little bit. They forget about these obelisks.
Yeah.
They could immediately jump in there and just take them for what they're
Yeah,
worth.
yeah.
You leave your town behind to go attack someone else, you're completely open for attack. It's crazy. Very simply put.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot. I find it's more enjoyable with more players actually than less players. Yeah, no, I think that it makes it busier, sort of stretches it out a little bit. You know, I don't know.
It does scale very well. That the back side of the board has a setup for 2 and 4 players, and this side of the board has set up for 3 and 5 players.
And you just cut off areas and you don't use those areas in those small games.
divided by the Nile here.
I haven't ever played this one 2-player, but I can't imagine it being great for that. It's a lot about that. I mean, a lot of these area control games, or even war games, have a lot of that diplomacy, where you're sort of sitting there going, I want to attack you because we need to focus on that.
Yes.
Which is really what's good about it.
Sam's about to win, Christoph.
I would not trust such a claim in this game because it's so aggressive.
Yeah, there is one card I'd like to point out is that this one here is that if you do have this one, if you defend a battle successfully, you do get victory points. It's expensive to get.
I know,
But
every single one of these tiles can completely
pretty good.
change your game.
Yeah.
And you're only going to get maybe 4 or 5 of them in a game.
Yeah,
Before other
probably.
players will start. If you're getting that many, you're probably spending all of your resources getting these and not actually doing anything else.
And then
for
losing
points.
the game by losing a temple.
And that's something I noticed, is that in the last game I played with more players, I could upgrade my things and then go buy more expensive stuff because all the early stuff got taken. But
I just gotta say, like, this game has amazing component quality. It's beautiful. Like, everything about it. It's even the back of the boards. It's absolutely gorgeous. But the best thing and what makes it really cool are these little guys here. These miniatures are absolutely astonishing.
I mean, everywhere the components are well thought out. I mean, even everyone's individual units look completely different.
yeah.
They're not just blank meeples or pawns.
Yeah, no, they're quality components. They all look unique and individual. Everyone has there's these unique
Who
ones.
doesn't, and no one else can buy them.
No one else can buy them. You
This
get
is
your own
my
special
snake.
thing.
Yes.
This is
My
my
fine
royal scarab. And they're just cool, like really cool.
You have to wonder how much you're buying the monsters because they give you abilities and how much I've got a psychic flying tandem war elephant.
Yeah. I know some people like to buy them because they look good, and I know I do.
I do that every game I play in Kemet. I want to buy
Yeah.
the nice elephant, the nice
Yep.
scarab, and then I lose.
Yeah.
But
But you've got the elephant.
Yes. So you take
that's what
the
matters.
one
and it's
on
my
the
elephant.
inside.
And even if you defeat me in battle, you cannot take that away from me. It is
Exactly.
my elephant.
And you do get your monsters back, which is really cool.
Yeah, they
if
come
you
back.
lost them, then it would be sort of like, oh, but they always come back, which is
Yeah, it's my elephant.
Yeah, it's just it's a very well designed game. It's very tight. There's so many different strategies you can do. There's no dominant strategy, and you're always vulnerable.
yeah.
And I think it's got a wide appeal too. Like it's going to appeal to people who like war games, but also people who don't generally like to play war games. This is really easy to learn. The rule set is
It is.
simple, accessible, nice and colourful, and you can play it really quickly too.
There is one thing, I do wonder how much, like you can get all your troops wiped out and get them back, but if you fall behind in the game, which can be a separate thing, how much you can actually come back after that. Because I don't know whether this suffers from that problem or not, where there's no, like the last player gets to choose who goes when,
Which is great, yeah.
which is turn order.
Yeah, if you're coming last, you can choose the turn order from top to bottom.
Yes. But I
think that's
suppose
fine.
it is such a quick game that it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
No, but
Yeah.
even so, if you're coming dead last and you've lost a bunch of your forces, you can reinforce them back onto
Oh,
the field,
it's really
and then
easy.
you can obelisk immediately to where they've now left their temple behind, and then you're getting points so quickly.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
point swing in this game from round to round is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, you only have 12 units in total, no matter what.
Yeah.
So you can't do everything you need to do.
Yeah.
You can't hold temples,
Where
defend your
you-
city, and get all the extra bonus
Where
stuff
you
around the
allocate
side.
them is very important, and permanent points will probably win you the game. Because the transients and points in this game is
You
crazy.
can always be taken away.
Temporary points everywhere, not too many permanent points unless you're killing everything,
Yeah.
which is the name of the game.
Yeah.
Aggressive game, I highly recommend it.
We hope you've enjoyed this historic review of Kemet.
We'll see you next time here at the Board Game Nuts.
Thanks for watching our review today. For more information about board games, as well as the #1 board game audio podcast, check out Dicetower.com for reviews, interviews, and more. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.
Is that everything? Alright, I go home and the Royal Scarab. They don't pay me enough for this.
So today we got power tiles. What is a power tile, you might ask? Well, this is one here. This, oh